Well, speaking of voice actors, supposedly Mark Hamill will never reprise his role as the Joker.
I've heard that, but isn't it because it's like his throat screwed up from it or something?
Well,
Wasn't that part of the deal? I know he also doesn't want to because of
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy's gone, but I know before that he was already highly reluctant to come back and do it. So yeah, oh well.
Mm. I mean, we have
maybe he can come back for like Wing Commander 5 or 6, whatever number they're on.
You can come back as a trickster.
There you go. He can be a Force ghost in the upcoming movie with Rey. That I'm sure will probably not actually happen. Because now that Dave Filoni's the creative director.
Hey, if he makes the 3 movies a fever dream that somebody had.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for, but I think it's going to be more like, hey guys, you know those other characters I created in the Clone Wars? Yeah, we're just going to focus on them too. And they're all going to be indestructible too, just like Ahsoka. So, here we go. And the Empire's just going to be complete incompetent boobs. Let's go for it. Like, it's one of those like, yeah, he's definitely got the energy. The problem is it's like focused all in the wrong areas. I hate to say this. Well, I don't hate to say this, but they need to be like, Jon Favreau, like, you can kind of wrangle Dave Filoni, can't you? Like, why don't you try that? And if you have to, do it physically. Like,
like
you've got experience with multi-billion-dollar franchises. Get in there, champ.
Dave Filoni, he's like a mixed bag. I can respect him.
A very mixed bag.
But some of the...
I think all the excesses and the bad decisions in the Ahsoka show were probably his decisions is the problem. So, it's like, I'd rather him than someone that actively hates the franchise and is trying to change it. I'd rather it just be like fanboy crap than we hate the fans crap. Because if I have to choose between the two, because at least Ahsoka looks pretty. And, there's parts of it that are good.
Except for surviving an orbital bombardment underneath a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, I mean, there's parts of it that are terrible. It's just bad writing. It's definitely like, do you know why the term Mary Sue exists? Like, do you know what the origin of the term is?
Yeah, it was like from like a
Star Trek fan fiction, yes. Dave Filoni's like the woman that wrote that. Only he actually got to create the characters in the canon. And then they were like, hey, make them real, and here's a bunch of money. Go for it. And he's just like, yes.
Are you calling Ahsoka Mary Sue?
Yes, kind of. Although it's more Sabine than her, but... Sabine, I just learned how to use the Force earlier today. All right, what's his name? The other Jedi that they went to the other galaxy to find.
Ezra.
I'm going to throw you up to the Star Destroyer. Like, no. I'm sorry, you don't learn to use the Force and immediately, you can just do that. That is absolutely not how any of that is supposed to work.
That'd be funny if they just let him splat on the ground.
That would have been hilarious. I would have given him major points for that.
Or have him fall and then Ahsoka catch him and then pull him up and then I guess we're just all stuck.
Or have him fall and then have it be a Force vision because you don't control those. And she's like, oh, that's a bad idea. Maybe I shouldn't try that. But no, she should not have had abilities anywhere near that. It's on par with Rey not even knowing how anything in the Force works. Being like, oh, Kylo Ren's trying to mind screw me, so I'm going to mind screw him. And it's like, no, that's not how that works.
Now, I say in the moment of desperation, her being able to pull a lightsaber to her, maybe, but...
Yeah, maybe, in desperation, the telekinetic thing, sure. And I can buy her being able to fight Kylo, because Kylo had been shot in the side by Chewbacca. Okay, it's a stretch, but sure thing. But, the second fight later on in the other successive movies, she should have gotten completely honed by him.
Well,
as the kids say on the internet, I think.
It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but pulling a lightsaber in desperation, isn't that really what happened to Luke in The Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's after he had started being trained by Obi-Wan. Didn't get very far, but he'd started. Mm-hmm. He had proven that he had at least the ability to use the Force with the torpedo thing. Okay? So, presumably... he wasn't just sitting around twiddling his thumbs between that point and Hoth, which has to be at least months, if not a year later. So he's presumably been, at least trying. As he has seen Obi-Wan do things. So he knows they're possible. And Obi-Wan has talked about things, so he knows they're possible. He just has to figure out how to do it. So yeah, I can get behind that. Plus, again, super desperation, and right afterwards, then he almost dies in the snow. Like he wasn't super competent. It's like, no, Han, I got this. Go back. I just killed this Wampa, and I'm just going to hide in him for a while, knowing any Wampa steaks in the morning. You and Wedge can just fly out here and meet me. Like that's essentially the gist of like what Ahsoka, not Ahsoka, what Rey does in the movies. And what Ahsoka and Sabine end up doing in that series. Although I will grant that Ahsoka would have drowned at some point had they not found her.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably, unless her race is aquatic that we don't know about, because she should have drowned at some point while she was out there. She was out there for like a day.
Well, Magic Force comatose
Yeah,
Filoni.
yeah. That's why the people that do the trailers to make older movies, like Ahsoka will win using new force powers such as water breathing.
But no, I mean,
quick change where it takes like 10 seconds for her to put the spacesuit on and go out and fight on the edge of the ship.
But okay, so pulling a lightsaber, I look back at when, and I know this is dumb, but when Luke was trying to lift the X-Wing, he could lift small things like stones and stuff like that, but you have to have it in your mind to be able to do all that other stuff. And
exactly. He didn't learn the important lesson that Star Killer learned, at least in the book.
Not the size.
No. It's not that the Force has limits, it's that they limit the Force. The Force is limitless. That's why Star Killer can do just the stupendous things he can do, because he has the mindset to know that that's the deal.
You know what? I'm not going to limit myself. I'm going to pull down that Star Destroyer.
Exactly. Yeah, the Force Unleashed novel is is way better than it has any right to be for a video game adaptation novel. So is the second one, by the way.
Is it better than the second game?
I don't know. I didn't finish the second game. The day I bought it, I got 3/4 of the way through it in like 2 hours. And then I realized the spot I was stuck was like 10 minutes from the end of the game or something, an hour from the end of the game. Never turned it back on. Which sucks because I pre-ordered that game too. So that means I bought that game like 10 years ago and never turned it back on. I should try to actually beat that at some point. So yes, up to that point it definitely was. So yeah.
Yes,
yeah any other movie news?
Or
thoughts? Do we have anything? We've got wildly off course there.
Thank you for watching. This has been a Geek Cabal video, Echoes of a Whisper. This has been a clip from one of our podcasts. The link to the actual podcast this is from is in the description of the video if you want to see the entire thing, which we obviously encourage you to do. But otherwise, if you enjoyed what you saw, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Subscriptions and all the rest is definitely appreciated. Comments, as always. But just in general, thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. And check out the other videos we have here on the channel. See you later.